Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Apopka High School welcomes you to Joe Sterling Gymnasium for the 20th and final time of the 9th annual Metro vs. Florida Challenge presented by Burnpat Orlando and St. Germain Chiropractic Clinics. Please welcome our guests wearing the black jerseys, visitors on the scoreboard from the First Academy. They are the Royals. And wearing the white jerseys, home on the scoreboard, representing the Orlando Metro Conference from Winter Park High School, please welcome the Wildcats. Let's meet the teams. We'll begin with our guests from TFA, and we will start at shooting guard with 6'3" junior number 4, Cam Summers. Also at shooting guard, 6'3" sophomore number 5, Kanye Jones. At guard, 6'3" junior number 11, Alex Shields. At forward, 6'4" senior number 20, Caleb Henry. And finally for the Royals at forward, 6'6" sophomore number 32, Jeremiah Bannister. The head coach of the Royals in his 17th year at TFA, Mr. Chris Mayberry. And now let's meet the Winter Park Wildcats. And we'll start at wing with 6'4" senior number 0, Trey Fluellen. At guard and small forward, 6'5" junior number 1, Van Wilkes. At guard, 5'10" sophomore number 10, Ryan Stanakis. At shooting guard and wing, 6'3" junior number 20, Clay Kuhn. And finally for the Wildcats at guard and forward, 6' junior number 33, Zachariah Andre. The head coach of the Wildcats in his second year at the helm of Winter Park, Mr. Stevan Colletes. The officials for tonight's game are from the Central Florida Officials Association here in Orlando. And tonight's game, like all other 19 of our games at the Metro vs. Florida Challenge, is being streamed live on YouTube. If you have friends and family back in Winter Park or back on the other side of Orlando who are not able to join us in person tonight, we invite you to send them the link right now. Send them a message and let them know that the channel name is Metro vs. Florida Challenge on YouTube. You can pull that up on your favorite computer, mobile device, or smart TV. You can also go to metrovsfl.com for links to all of our live feeds in addition to our live play-by-play stats. Again, Metro VSFL and the Metro vs. Florida Challenge on YouTube. And good evening and welcome. My name is Mark Barchi. I am the media director of the Metro vs. Florida Challenge, and I am joined tonight by Neil Fisher of the Apopka Chief. We'll be taking you through this final contest of the Metro vs. Florida Challenge.
Well, again, Mark, one last time. It seems like we would never get here, but
once more under the breach.
Fine job of the introduction. Fine job of getting us started.
Foul is called against number 20, Caleb Henry. That's his first, the team's first.
And as we get started tonight, it's been a pleasure, honor to work with you side by side here throughout the course of this great event. And one last game here. We got Winter Park representing the Metro Conference and the First Academy representing the Florida contingency. As we get started.
Well, and as I said earlier, Neil, in some of our earlier games, Metro already passed 10 wins, so the Metro Conference has won the Metro vs. Florida Challenge, but since everybody was already here, we decided we'd go ahead and play this game anyway.
Yeah, I guess you can't send the players back home after traveling all the way here. But nonetheless, Winter Park, of course, represents the Metro Conference. As you know, they have won several state championships, I believe three in the last 12 years. I mean, I know they've won 3. I believe it's over a period of 12 years, but they've always been a school in the basketball level that is very capable of winning the district championship and winning several games in the FHSAA postseason tournament. They're a team that they might not have the cachet of some of these other schools, say Dr. Phillips, well, Dr. Phillips comes to mind at First Olympia during Coach Grizik's run there. Even Evans, but they seem to always, when we get down to those last 16 teams in the tournament, they seem to always be on one of the line. That was until last year. They were only 7-20, which was Stevan Colletes' second year, as you mentioned. Of course, to knock it out of their district championship tournament. This year, they've produced something of a turnaround. They're 9-7, so over 500. Last year's team was extremely young. Of course, they had that unfortunate situation, which does happen often in high school, because you can only play 4 years, with pretty much everybody who's part of the main rotation graduates in the same class. This year, they come back with Dane Whetzel, Fluellen and Parker Junod for the seniors, along with Zachariah Andre and Kuhn and WIlkes in the junior class. So far, 2 minutes into this ball game, neither team has really been able to find their game. A lot of trouble handling the ball, some very ill-advised shots there, at least as far as from the distance.
And Winter Park also has I think the second highest score ever posted in a Metro versus Florida Challenge game. And yes, that was when Austin Rivers was here. And the only score that beat them is the score of the team they were playing against, unfortunately, which was Montverde.
Montverde, yes, that was a tremendous game. If memory serves me correct, that was the last game of the first ever Metro versus Florida Challenge. Incredible game. Both, I believe the score was about 102-92.
Yes, that is correct. And it is the only time I can say in my entire time of dozens of years doing this that I have ever seen a high school team score 92 points and lose.
Yeah, I don't know how many times I've ever seen a team score 92 points. Off the top of my head, I can't remember. But of course, Austin Rivers, I was going to talk about a little bit later, but of course, he is the son of Doc Rivers, who's now coaching the Clippers, coached the Celtics before that and the Magic.
Zachariah Andre is called on the foul. His first, the team's first.
And of course, he has played in the NBA. He has played in the NBA for a number of years. That was that great matchup. They have back-to-back finals of the FHSAA postseason tournament, where Winter Park, led by Austin Rivers, or at least he was the biggest face of the program, took on Dr. Phillips, who was led by Shane Larkin. Of course, he was the son of Barry Larkin, the Hall of Fame shortstop in baseball. Two great finales, two great teams. Unfortunately for Dr. Phillips, they ran into Winter Park 2 years in a row, who was a little bit better, just about half a step quicker, and about half an inch better at the shooting. And Winter Park was certainly riding high. I believe that was the 2010-2011 seasons.
Foul is called against number 5, Kanye Jones. That's his first personal foul. The team's second. The basket by Van Wilkes is good. He's at the line shooting for the three-point play.
So that was the heyday of Winter Park, and they did go on to win another championship. I believe that was in 2015. But then again, with Steve Colletes taking over the program, as we get a turnover here, they have taken a dive, and again, almost the entire main rotation graduated 2 years ago.
Van Wilkes 2 points off the turnover.
Or 1 year ago. And they have played in every one of these events. They're 5-3 overall. And again, they come in with a 9-7 record as we move to the first academy here, as we get a turnover. The Royals are another team like Winter Park. They're expected to make long runs into the FHSAA postseason tournament, although they are in the middle class. That's Class 5A District 2. Again, another very experienced team, another very experienced coach with Chris Mayberry in his 17th year there. Put together a very respectable 7-13 record.
No basket. Player control fouls called against number 2, Denzel Aberdeen, his first, the team's third.
put together a very respectable 17-13 record and got into the FHSA postseason tournament as the runner-up, basically losing in the final. If you're wondering how teams advance, at least for this last season, they'll be using this format, how a team advances to the FHSA postseason tournament. Basically, you have to advance to the district championship tournament final as well.
Foul called against number 3, Namid Wagwugu. That is his first and the team's fourth, excuse me.
They come in a bit on the struggling side, the First Academy, with only a 9-10 record, so obviously they're unaccustomed to being under 500. And they are led, according to their press release, by Alex Shields, junior 6'3" guard, and their newcomer, sophomore guard Kanye Jones. He is 6'3" shooting guard. So sit back one last time here. So far we've had an entertaining game, maybe not, as I've said many times, for many of the games, the most high level of quality, but certainly from a fan's perspective, the money is certainly, you're getting your money's worth there. A little bit of everything here, from good offense to good defense, and taking advantage of the other team's mistakes. So 3 minutes left here, Mark, in a 5-2 lead by Winter Park again. Like I said, a little bit of good and a little bit of bad. Part of that bad is the field goal percentage has not been very well. Both teams shooting around 20% here, and there you see an example. Another missed field goal.
Jeremiah Bannister is fouled on the attempt to go to the line and shoot 2. The foul is called against number 20, Clay Kuhn. That's his first, the team's second.
There, Mark, you see some of the good, an excellent over-the-top pass, and a good job, and an excellent job by Bannister to draw the contact there. Saw the defensive player leaning the wrong way, and he then leaned into the body. Again, as I've mentioned many times throughout the course of this event, it's not just about passing to the right location on an over-the-top pass. You have to also make sure you can lead the receiver into the pass, and you don't want him to break his stride.
Checking in for TFA, Caleb Henry. And Trey Fluellen kicks the ball away. Well, 3 in a row here that Winter Park has gotten a hand on it, but not actually gotten the turnover. Make it 4. They do understand you literally cannot by rule steal the ball by kicking it. Checking into the game for TFA, number 11, Alex Shields.
Winter Park is using a 1-3-1 zone here with some pressing aspects to it.
Well, suffice to say, Neil, I don't think Winter Park's going to score 92 points today.
No, they have a lot of work if they're going to make up 87 points in a little over 3 quarters.
Bannister for 2.
So after all that from the Winter Park, all that kicking, they give up the bucket.
Clay Kuhn adds 3 in a much shorter possession for the.
Yeah.
Oh, now here's something different.
At least in the short term, makes no never mind.
Fouls called against Wildcats number 10, Ryan Stanakis. His first, the team's third. At the line, shooting 2, Sean Johnson.
One more note here about Winter Park. They are in District 9A4, as I mentioned. That's the district that does include Boone. Boone's another team that does seem to regularly, almost every year, qualify for the FHSA postseason tournament as well. It's also opposite District 3, which is home of Apopka, Wekiva, Evans, and West Orange. We've talked extensively about them, talked quite a bit about them on Saturday, those 4 teams, because all 4 of them were in action. Well, 3 of the 4 were in action Saturday. Wekiva played Friday night. So there is quite a bit of familiarity with Winter Park, being that we usually do wind up seeing them as the regular Wekiva broadcasters. So 30 seconds now, 8-7 ball game. Winter Park holding the lead. And a good effort there by number 20, Caleb Henry, getting to that loose ball. Unfortunately, First Academy cannot turn it into points, and Winter Park will be able to set up for the last field goal attempt here as we have 6 seconds left. 4, 3, shot from the corner and drain it. Counted just the way you want to end that first quarter.
Trey Fluellen on the pass from Van Wilkes for 3, and that will put a 4-point advantage on the board for the Wildcats. 11-7 is your score at the end of 8 minutes. And we'll take this opportunity to thank our friends at Burn Fat Orlando, title sponsors of this year's Metro versus Florida Challenge. And they challenge you to step on the scale every day and watch the pounds melt away. In fact, if you don't lose weight within the first 10 days, they'll give you your money back. Call them now at 855-889-THIN. That's 855-889-THIN for the tools and guidance you need to achieve better health and your weight loss goals. With an inviting atmosphere, friendly staff, and personalized programs that give you fast results with real nutrition. Burn Fat Orlando invites you to lose up to 30 to 40 pounds. 855-889-THIN. And the Wildcats will have the opening possession of the second period.
So as we come back, Mark, looking at the stats again, rather low score certainly reflects the shooting percentage. Only 1 of 10 for the First Academy. They are 5 of 6 at the free throw line, so the majority of their points have come from there. Shooting the ball very well, but yet to find the distance from the field from the floor. Winter Park is a little bit better at 4 of 13. That's a 31% clip. They've only been able to go to the line though once. Both teams turning the ball over 3 times, no advantage there. However, and both teams, ironically enough, have 2 offensive rebounds and 7 defensive rebounds. But TFA again is staying in this ball game because they are 5 of 6 compared to 1 of 1. So they've been able to take 5 more free throw attempts, while Winter Park has taken 3 more field goal attempts.
Denzel Aberdeen picks up 3 for the Royals.
So the lead goes back down to 1 point. Ooh, a drive and a kick out there. Good play, good execution by Winter Park until that last attempt. And again, it's Caleb Henry who got in the way of that field goal attempt, forcing the shot to be altered.
So far, the Royals not putting a lot of pressure on penetration, and frankly, neither are the Wildcats, but I guess they don't need it when Trey Fluellen drains a 3 for the Wildcats.
So it took a couple of possessions there, but Winter Park does answer that tray thrown up and converted by TFA.
Jeremiah Bannister is fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. The foul is called against number 33, Zachariah Andre. That's his second personal foul and the team's 4th.
Shooter.
We'll pause for a timeout. Full timeout requested by the Royals.
5:57 in the second period.
And we'll take this opportunity to thank our friends at St. Germain Chiropractic Clinic, another title sponsor of this year's Metro vs. Florida Challenge. They offer the best non-invasive healthcare services in the Central Florida, Orlando area. With most insurance accepted, they can help you with back and neck pain, headaches, auto accident injuries, slip and fall incidents, musculoskeletal conditions, and more. Just remember, when in pain, call St. Germain. We also want to thank our friends at Baptiste Orthodontics, who are great partners to Orange County Public Schools in a number of ways. And we also want to thank them for their support of the Metro vs. Florida Challenge. They offer everything from traditional braces to the latest and greatest in innovative technology like ceramics, Invisalign, Propel, ClearCorrect, and more. And now they have a third location right here in Apopka to serve you even more conveniently. In addition to their Colonial Drive and Conroy Windermere Road locations, you can find their beautiful new facility just across the street from Kitland Nelson Park at 12 South Park Avenue. Schedule your free consultation today to get a free x-ray with no down payment and then quality braces starting at $129 a month.
So TFA is remaining in man-to-man coverage. Again, Mark, we've talked about it extensively throughout the tournament, have 20 games, a lot more than just a sample there. Most teams nowadays go man-to-man.
Cocciarella to WIlkes for 2.
So now a 5-point lead, the largest of the ball game by Winter Park. And now Winter Park is extending its man-to-man coverage, its 1-3-1 zone, all the way out to the half-court line. They've yet to be able to get a steal or a turnover, but it certainly is disrupting TFA's flow on offense.
Sean Johnson for 3.
And no sooner do I say that TFA's flow is being interrupted, they drain a tray.
Foul called against number 20, Caleb Henry, is second, the team's 5th. At the line shooting is Dane Whetzel. Foul called against number 35, Jack Cocciarella. That's his first personal foul, the team's 5th.
Hit that support up there. Bounced down. Should have been thrown dead.
Caleb Henry to Sean Johnson for 3.
So
and that's a tie ball game. New ball game, Neil.
Yeah, and TFA seems to have found the range here midway through the second quarter on those three-point field goals.
Shot selection so far, 10 3 6 2s. And here we have Van Wilkes for three.
So an answer again from Winter Park, who's now extending the zone all the way to three quarters.
Checking into the game for Winter Park, Clay Kuhn and Trey Fluellen. Meanwhile, looking at Winter Park shot selection, they've taken 8 2s and 11 3s. So both teams very similar on the way they've been approaching their shot selection. And here comes a fast break. That's Van Wilkes steals 2 for Winter Park.
Again, both teams holding on to the ball. Only 3 turnovers in that first quarter. But there is not only a turnover, but being taken advantage of, resulting in points for Winter Park.
No basket, offensive charge called against Nami Wagwugu. That is his second personal foul, the team's 6th.
So TFA now using those 2 turnovers to break a tie, 5 straight points. Although this second one was an offensive foul turnover as opposed to a steal. And we have a break in the action now to wipe up some sweat on the floor.
I guess they must be working at least a little bit hard.
One thing I can say here, Mark, the last couple of games, of course, Windermere took on Central Florida Christian Academy before this game. It has been close throughout. We have seen a number of games, especially today, where one team has gone up by at least double digits, and that was basically the difference in the ball game. We've had a couple that have even gotten worse from there. None of that has happened in the last couple of games. Windermere did take a 7-point lead, but they never really were able to establish a game where you felt like they were in control throughout the whole game.
Sean Johnson on the pass to Kanye Jones for 3.
And so far, as we get below the 3-minute mark, it's been pretty much anything you can do, TFA can do.
Ryan Sinakis draws the foul on the way up. He's going to go to the line and shoot 2. The foul is called against number 11, Alex Shields. That's his first personal foul, the team's 7th. Checking into the game for TFA, Jeremiah Bannister.
Now Winter Park relaxes back into the half-court defense.
And apologies there. We apparently the button must have stuck on TFA's score, but they do in fact have 20 points. The game is much closer than it looked there for a second. We didn't forget about those. Checking into the game for TFA, number 4. Cam Summers. Yeah, just in case you ever do look at the bottom of your screen and panic because there are points that have been scored that haven't been put up yet, just be aware that that's not connected to the scoreboard in the arena. The official score is always going to be right, and we do our best to keep it as synchronized as we can. Foul called against Clay Kuhn, his second, the team's 6th. Nami Dagwugu will shoot 2. Denzel Aberdeen into the game for the Royals.
So 2 of 2 at the line. TFA continues to shoot the ball well from the free throw line. They are now 9 of 10. Actually, yeah, 10 of 12. 10 of 12 from the line. That's really kept TFA in this ball game and negated a low field goal percentage. It has risen since the first quarter, but still below average.
Ryan Stanakis for 3 on the pass from Clay Kuhn.
And again, good rotation setting up that open tray attempt. Nobody in the face of the shooter there.
And WIlkes with a Winter Park 3.
And so as we come down to the last minute here, Mark, we've seen the pace really pick up here. No stoppages in about 2 minutes. Both teams going to transition, pushing the ball up the court.
Jeremiah Bannister.
And 30 seconds left here. Winter Park holding a 6-point lead. And now they've become more deliberate in their attack.
Foul is called against number 5, Kanye Jones, the second the team's 8th. And that will put the Wildcats into bonus. At the line shooting 1-1, number 10, Ryan Stanakis. But first, checking into the game for Winter Park, number 22, Kamren Harrington. And number 35, Jack Cocciarella.
So not a smart foul there, Mark. And we've talked about throughout the whole event here, you have honorable losses. You also can have honorable mistakes or honorable bad decisions. Those are the kind that are forced upon you with good defense while the other team putting pressure. That was not a very honorable foul. Winter Park was in no hurry to get a shot off there, and you gave them an opportunity to get some points, easy points, free throw line right before the half. And now that's going to come back to roost even more here, as TFA is not going to be able to score here at the end of the first half. And of course, as soon as I say that, we get a turnover.
Traveling Royals ball.
So a little bit of being able to regain some of that lost momentum opportunity, and it's good. Exactly what TFA needs going into halftime, regain some of that momentum and establishing its game.
Denzel Aberdeen on the pass to Jeremiah Bannister, and that will be the last word of the first half, and that makes it a 32-26 game when we put those points up at halftime here in game number 20 out of 20. As we begin our halftime period, we would like to thank all of you for supporting the Metro versus Florida Challenge, and we also want to thank our sponsors and volunteers as well. But first, we'll give you your halftime stats, beginning with TFA, and we'll start with Nami Wagwagwu. That's his second. He has 2 points on the board. We also have 3 points on the board for Denzel Aberdeen, along with 2 assists. Kanye Jones has 3 points and 1 rebound. Sean Johnson, 7 points and 1 assist, and Jeremiah Bannister leads his team so far with 11 points and 4 rebounds. As for the Wildcats, a free throw in the books for Dane Whetzel. Clay Kuhn has 3 points and 3 rebounds. Trey Fluellen with 6 points, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, and 1 blocked shot. And Ryan Stanakis has 7 points, 3 rebounds. Leading all scorers for the first half, it's Van Wilkes with 15 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1 blocked shot. We'll take this opportunity to again thank those who have helped us to put on the Metro versus Florida Challenge. We already talked about Burn Fat Orlando, St. Germain Chiropractic, Baptiste Orthodontics, we also want to thank Elevate Orlando. They are a civic nonprofit that's focused on helping students grow in strength of character and application of essential life skills. They are in the classroom through a partnership with Orange County Public Schools to offer an accredited elective. And beyond that, they also get to spend more than half their time outside of school mentoring students. Join the 1,550 students at 14 partner schools who are achieving a 98% graduation rate and 96% post-secondary placement at Elevate Orlando, a proud partner of the Metro versus Florida Challenge. We also want to thank the City of Apopka and Commissioner Kyle Becker for their support of Apopka High School and the Metro versus Florida Challenge. And we want to thank AM 1520 WBZW. They are great partners of Apopka Athletics all year long, and in particular we want to thank them for their generous promotion of this fantastic 20-game showcase. AM 1520 WBZW is your hometown station. And last but certainly not least, we want to thank the many volunteers and staff members who come together to make the Metro versus Florida Challenge possible. From our admission table, our hospitality room, our concession stands, our video operators, our scoreboard and clock operators, and so many more that you don't see that are making this happen. A 20-game showcase is an amazingly complex, high-resource event, and it is only through the generosity and support of our community that we are able to do it. So again, we want to thank everyone involved in the Metro versus Florida Challenge, which just gets better and better every year. For those of you who are joining us on the webcast, we're going to take a break from the action here for about 5 more minutes, and then we will be back at Joe Sterling Gymnasium for the last 2 quarters of the 2019 Metro versus Florida Challenge.
ball goes to Winter Park.
All right, welcome back to the last half of the last game here at Joe Sterling Gymnasium. Mark Parchi, the voice of the Metro versus Florida Challenge, here with you, along with Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief. And we're about ready to put a bow on this one. But we've got a pretty good game going here for our 20th and final event. Nice to end on a high note. And we'll see if Winter Park can hold on to that 6-point lead for the Metro Conference. We know that the Metro Conference is going to finish this event with more wins. The only question is how many more wins. As here we get Jeremiah Bannister with a rebound here, and then he gets fouled. Foul called against number 33, Zachariah Andre, his third, the team's first. So, Neil, I was just saying, a pretty good game here. Nice to end on a high note.
Yeah, Winter Park came out and took a lead. They have led from the start, but they've not been able to really lead by more than, I believe their largest lead was 8. We went into halftime at 6. And to be honest, as I mentioned, TFA has not shot the ball well, and they've made some bad decisions, at least from my perspective here behind the press scorers table. But nonetheless, they've been able to get enough field goals when they needed to prevent Winter Park from extending that lead.
Kanye Jones opens up second half scoring with a 3 for the Royals.
And there's an example. Cutting the lead all the way back down to 3 points.
Answered with a 3 from Clay Kuhn on the pass from WIlkes.
So, again, neither team has shot the ball very well from the beginning. TFA has gotten a little bit better. They were 1 of 6 from 2-point range in the first quarter. They're now up 3 of 9, so 33%. They're at TFA.
3-point basket for Denzel Aberdeen on the pass this time from Alex Shields.
TFA is 30% for the game total. And no sooner did I talk about TFA not being able to really hit any of the shots, they drained a couple of trays. On the other end, a 10 for 26 performance from Winter Park. That's a percentage of 43, so not quite where you'd like it to be, but certainly better than TFA's. Both teams pretty even rebounding, 16 for Winter Park, 17 for TFA. Free throw and only 5 turnovers for both teams in that first half. However, a 2-point differential for TFA at the line, going 8 of 10 compared to 6 of 7.
Denzel Aberdeen on the pass to Cam Summers for 3. And that will tie the game up at 35 all.
Yeah, and after going through all the stats, it doesn't mean anything anyway, because TFA's come back and drained 3 of their last 4 attempts.
So Winter Park has selected a 2-pointer 13 times and a 3-pointer 18 times. And that has been indicative of this game, that nobody wants to go inside. TFA, for their part, has selected a 2-pointer 11 times, a 3-pointer 19 times. So both teams very much perimeter shooting teams. Nobody wants to try to penetrate. The good news is that keeps the foul count low and makes the game go fast. And here's an exception to that rule. Trey Fluellen from Zachariah Andre.
Again, that transition was created by a long field goal attempt being missed. Long field goal attempt missed means a long rebound, which cuts about a third of the territory that's got to be covered when moving the ball up the court.
Pass is good. 20.
Foul called against number 20, Clay Kuhn, his third and the team's second. The basket by Jeremiah Bannister is good. He's at the line shooting for the 3-point play.
So when TFA with an opportunity to take the lead for the first time tonight, I believe.
Checking into the game, number 22, Cam Harrington. And they do just that.
So TFA in front for the first time in this ball game. Winter Park played man-to-man throughout the first half. They stay in that. Excuse me, I mean TFA.
Player control. 32, blue, player control.
Foul called against Jeremiah Bannister on the offensive foul. It's his first, the team's first. And so that'll cost a turnover for the Royals, just as they capture the lead.
Oh, swat from behind there.
And then a giveaway. Foul is called against number 10, Ryan Stanakis. That's his second, the team's third. At the line shooting 2, Denzel Aberdeen. Caleb Henry back for TFA.
So TFA has surged into lead here. Again, not a dynamic surging, certainly not something that has come in bunches as far as the points. Just cutting the lead down a point here, a point there, and with 3 minutes left, they're now up by a possession, 3 points to be exact. And an opportunity, though, to extend that lead. Winter Park is having some trouble holding on to the ball.
Aberdeen to Shields for 3.
And there, that was a shot which came from about 5 feet behind the arc, but there was nobody in the face of the shooter.
And Winter Park will request a full timeout.
So again, coming back to live action, 2 minutes, 30 seconds left. 43-37 lead here by TFA. They have
Trey Fluellen picks up 2 for the Wildcats. And you can hear Coach Mayberry saying, I just talked about that.
And on the other end, the Winter Park bench has certainly come alive with that last possession. Here starting to chant defense and clapping to the tune.
Cam Harrington adds 2 more for the Wildcats. And Aberdeen misread the route, to use a football illusion.
And now Winter Park with an opportunity to tie the ball game up again, or perhaps even take the lead. For as much as TFA was looking like they were starting to surge ahead with a methodical play here, they just gave it all up here, especially if Winter Park can capitalize on the turnover in the form of scoring. Which they can't, and so TFA remains in the lead. Oh, that was a hustle rebound there. A third consecutive offensive rebound.
Denzel Aberdeen for 3 from Cam Summers, and we'll pause for a timeout. Full timeout requested by TFA. And we'll take this opportunity to remind you that just because the event is over does not mean that our website shuts down. You can access all 9 years of history of the Metro versus Florida Challenge, including our lifetime records. We have not updated them yet for this year, but when we get home tonight and get some rest, we'll be going through all the stats from these 20 games and finding out who now belongs to our Hall of Fame club, as we recognize our top performers of all time in terms of scoring, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, and more. So look for that to be posted soon to metrovsfl.com. You can also download a full color copy of the program. Only black and white ones are available here in the arena, but you can download the full color program from metrovsfl.com, as well as all of our archived programs from past years.
So 1:03 left here, Mark. A 5-point lead being held by TFA. TFA took the lead about midway through this third quarter. Lead was cut all the way down to 1 point about a minute ago. Since then, TFA has come up with a couple of big turnovers. There we see another one. Bad pass by Winter Park there, just threw it right to the TFA where he was standing, and TFA returns the favor as well as commits a foul.
Offensive foul called against Denzel Aberdeen. That's his second personal foul, the team's second.
And now 42.9 seconds left. TFA, for the most part, has played man-to-man. I remember a couple of possessions in which they came up full court, content to lay back and let Winter Park shoot over the defense, which Winter Park has done the whole game.
Out of bounds. Royals ball.
And when Winter Park is making self-destructive and damaging mistakes, you don't need to do much more than do shoot over.
White 22.
Foul called against number 22, Cam Harrington. His first, team's fourth.
So 15 seconds left here, down to 10 now. Good rotation on the ball here by TFA, and they're going to get an open shot. Can't get it to go down. One last opportunity for Winter Park.
That takes us to the end of the third period, and it is the Royals who have a 5-point advantage after trailing early and getting the game tied. Now they lead by 5. 46-41 is the score, with 8 minutes left in the ball game and 8 minutes left in the 9th annual Metro versus Florida Challenge. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at MetroVSFL. We'll be completely honest, we don't tweet a whole lot during the off season, but we do tweet a whole lot during the season, and particularly during this event. So make sure you go ahead and follow us now so you don't forget for next year when we're ready to announce information about our 10th anniversary season for the Metro versus Florida Challenge. We'll be looking forward to that with more action from Apopka High School over MLK weekend. Again, make sure you're following Metro versus Florida. That's Metro VSFL on Facebook and Twitter. And also make sure you stay subscribed to our YouTube channel, which is Metro versus Florida Challenge on YouTube. And the Wildcats get the opening possession of the fourth quarter.
And they need to get some baskets here. Down by 5. Obviously, the game is not over. Certainly able to come over, but if they can get a couple of baskets here, it would make their life a lot easier, gain some momentum. Looking at the stats here, one last time, Mark. Again, neither team continues to shoot the ball particularly well. Doing just enough here to be respectable, I guess you could say. 13 of 40 for TFA from the floor. That's average a percentage of 32.5. The three-point field goes a little bit better at 9 of 24. While Winter Park has at least been a little bit more, has been more consistent as far as where they've gotten their points. They're 14 of 39. So that's a percentage of 35.8, actually 36.
And so, Neil, again, we've seen a lot of shot selection that favors perimeter shooting. We have not seen a lot of attempts at penetration. We've seen, in fact, a lot of fake penetration that ends up just going right back out to the outside trying to find an open man. And I think that's why you're seeing such poor shooting percentages, because low percentages shots for the most part being taken. And both teams have kind of the same MO here, so it's interesting to watch. Since it's kind of, there's a certain sameness to the strategy each team is executing. It's just how well they're executing it. Here we get foul called against number 1, Van Wilkes. That's his first personal foul, the team's 5th. Checking into the game for Winter Park, number 0, Trey Fluellen.
So, yes, Mark, going back to our discussion, yes, the means are different, but the end result's the same. Both teams shooting well below 40%. As you mentioned, low percentage shots, and that just means shots that usually don't go in. Neither team, I would say probably 90% of the possessions have been shots from outside, from perimeter have been taken at least 10 feet, and there's just a wild pass. Not sure what exactly was going on between the ears there.
Yeah, I think he maybe he's been putting in too much time in the weight room. I don't think he knew his own strength there. But the other thing we haven't seen a lot of, I haven't been keeping this stat specifically, but we haven't seen a lot of fast break baskets. We haven't seen a lot of plays in transition. Even when they get those long rebounds, they're usually just waiting for the half-court set.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of transition opportunities, but not the ending of getting points.
Alex Shields for 2.
There's one of the few ones. Rebounds are in TFA's advantage.
Clay Kuhn down the baseline for 2.
Rebounds have given TFA a little bit of an advantage there, 29 to 23. And turnovers are only 9 to 8. Winter Park committing to 9.
Denzel Aberdeen on the pass to Jeremiah Bannister.
And so the big difference, at least heading into the fourth quarter, in the very last 8 minutes of this event, is at the free throws. At least statistically, TFA has shot more, therefore they've made more. They're 11 of 13. Winter Park is 6 of 7. Unlike the past 2 or 3 games, both teams have shot the ball well from the free throw line. As I mentioned, it really wasn't a case of the team that was...
Block is called against number 32, Jeremiah Bannister. That's his second, the team's 3rd.
The difference in the free throws wasn't necessarily what the winning team did. It was more about what the losing team did not do in the last 2 or 3 games. This time, like I said, 11 of 13 at the line from TFA, 6 of 7 from Winter Park, so both teams shooting at over 90% clip. And wouldn't you know it, ball in the rim. But TFA, again, has taken almost twice as many. Therefore, they have been able to score 5 more points.
Block is called against number 1, Van Wilkes, the second, the team's 6th, and that will send Alex Shields to the line to shoot 2.
And so while I was going on my spiel there about free throws, TFA gets to the line again, and they continue to convert them, 12 of 14 now. And again, that's a 6-point difference, and we're looking at an 8-point deficit.
Lane violation, 1 more shot for Alex Shields.
Yeah, Trey Fluellen just lost his balance there.
Checking into the game for the Royals, number 15, Kanye Jones.
So now 14 of 16 at the line in an 8-point differential between TFA and Winter Park at the free throw line. TFA remains in their man-to-man defense. They have not switched out of it for the entire game. And as you mentioned, Winter Park is content to keep moving the ball around the perimeter. And there you see the effects of not having an inside game.
Cam Summers for 3. Nice defensive work by Cam Summers there. Stays in possession of the Wildcats.
And TFA has now opened up a 12-point lead.
Number 0, Trey Fluellen on the inbound for 2.
So there you see an inside play, Mark, one of the few times. It looked rather easy, to be honest there. Good execution. And really, if Winter Park's going to win, I think they're going to have to do that at least a few more times. You know, again, you can't win solely just shooting 3-point field goals. You do have to at least make an attempt maybe 20-25% of the time to go inside.
Foul called against Zachariah Andre. That is his 4th personal foul, the team's 7th. And it's going to send the Royals to the free throw line. We've got Kanye Jones shooting 1-1. But first, checking into the game for the Royals, Alex Shields.
And Mark, I've talked extensively about it here in the 4th quarter. The situation at the free throw line is really now just taking a huge advantage to TFA. They are in the bonus, and there's still 3.5 minutes left. Rare miss, though. At least for now, Winter Park catches a break, and they need to take advantage of this.
Foul called against TFA's Cam Summers, his first, the team's 4th. Ryan Sinakis with a jumper for the Wildcats.
And that was a nicely executed shot there. Good technique, looking in the textbook.
Cam Summers for 3.
And TFA answers again, just textbook.
Trey Fluellen in transition. Well, they must have heard us talking about him, Neil, because now they're doing all that stuff.
And now they're going inside.
Well, for better or for worse. Checking into the game for the Wildcats, number 1, Van Wilkes.
And it's not quite over yet as far as the outcome. A 9-point lead for TFA here, 2 minutes, 45 seconds. Plenty of time to cut that lead down. Important possession, though. Opportunities are dwindling, and you got to take advantage of each of them. Score points at the end.
Off balance there. I'm not sure what that was all about. Traveling. Wildcat ball. So an unforced error there will give Winter Park a chance to close to perhaps within 7, maybe even 6.
And now you hear Coach Mayberry instruct his team, we are in no hurry, so to expect TFA to slow down the pace, at least as far as passing and how quickly they're taking shots.
And after Kanye Jones comes up with a steal, the Royals will request a 30-second timeout. Again, partial timeout is requested by the Royals. 2 minutes 11 seconds left in this contest, and in fact 2 minutes 11 seconds left in the whole Metro versus Florida Challenge. Your leaders right now for TFA, Denzel Aberdeen with 11 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and Jeremiah Bannister leads his team, and in fact all scorers with 16 points, 8 rebounds, and 1 assist. For the Wildcats, Van Wilkes has 15 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and Trey Fluellen has 14 points and 4 rebounds. TFA has 2 fouls to give. Winter Park has none.
Hey, Diamond High, get in there right now, Diamond High.
So with that 2 minutes and 11 seconds left, Mark, expect TFA to be more deliberate in their quickness in shooting the ball. Oh, great opportunity there.
Jeremiah Bannister from Alex Shields for 2. And boy, Neil, that's what we haven't seen either team really do very effectively all night. And now finally, maybe they cracked the nut on it. Clay Kuhn on the pass from Zachariah Andre for the second chance basket.
And now, to be honest, I'm surprised Winter Park is just now starting to come out with their defense past midcourt.
Out of bounds, Wildcat ball.
So perhaps this game isn't quite over as far as the outcome.
Ryan Stanakis and 1. Foul called against number 2, Denzel Aberdeen. That's his 3rd personal foul, the team's 5th.
So TFA has played real well here, in particular the decision making, and in the last 30 seconds they've left that door open for Winter Park here. Still a minute 26 seconds left, and now only a 6-point lead.
If you don't mind, another minute 26 seconds.
Into Diamond High, just make sure I want everyone back here so we have tons of options. Denzel and Alex, stay here. Move it before they get to you.
And now I'm surprised Winter Park is not going to foul. I realize there's still a minute 26 seconds left.
Coming up on a minute to play here. Van Wilkes hits a 2-point shot, and we'll pause for a timeout.
30-second timeout, Winter Park, 59.4.
30-second timeout requested by the Wildcats.
How we doing on timeouts, man?
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, before we finish up today, we want to thank all of the volunteers and staff members who helped to make this 20-game event possible. We have so many people who are supportive of the Apopka community and of the Blue Darter program here and the Metro versus Florida Challenge, running admissions, concessions, hospitality, clock, scorebook, and cleanup, and many things that you don't see. We have videographers and more, all of whom make this event possible and make our webcast possible. So we thank them so much for their support year after year.
So it's not quite over yet, Mark, and it looks like we might still have that exciting finish to the entire event here. TFA, again, played so well through the first 3 quarters, limiting the mistakes. They've made 7 turnovers here in this 4th quarter, including 3 out of the last 4 possessions, which Winter Park has turned into points.
Foul is called against Wildcats number 0. Trey Fluellen is first, the team's 8th. Checking into the game for TFA, number 32, Jeremiah Bannister. And at the line, shooting 1-on-1 bonus, Denzel Aberdeen.
So obviously critical free throws here. Chance to re-up the lead to 6 and stunt that Winter Park momentum. Again, statistically, the difference has been free throws, starting with the fact that TFA has gone to the line almost 3 times as much as Winter Park. Obviously, the more free throw attempts, the more points you're going to score. And that, I believe, should do it, especially if we can get, especially if TFA can sink to 2 free throws.
Fouls called against number 1, Van Wilkes' 3rd personal foul, the team's 9th. We'll switch to the other side as Kanye Jones shoots 1-on-1.
So 17 of 21 from the free throw line by TFA. Again, a 3-1 margin. Only 7 have been taken by Winter Park. Actually, excuse me, 9 have been taken. So it's not quite 3. It's close to 3-1. But still, the point is the more free throws, the more likely a team is to score. So not quite over yet here.
Trey Fluellen goes down the baseline for a Wildcat dunk, and we'll pause for a 30-second timeout requested by the Wildcats. Again, 30 seconds taken by Winter Park. And with 29.1 seconds left on the clock, here's your game reset. Neither team, well, excuse me, TFA has 1 foul to give. Winter Park has none. They will have double bonus against them on the next foul. Watching fouls, Denzel Aberdeen has 3. Nobody else does for TFA. For Winter Park, Van Wilkes has 3, and Zachariah Andre has 4. Leading scorers, Winter Park has 4 people in double figures. Kuhn with 10, Snackus 12, Fluellen 16, and Wilkes 17. Royals have Aberdeen with 13 and Bannister with 18.
So now Winter Park going full court defense as you would expect. And I'm not sure why we didn't get the foul there right away. Perhaps youth.
30-second timeout is requested by the Royals. And that'll be the last 30-second timeout on either side, as TFA has 1 full remaining and Winter Park has 2 fulls remaining.
So, good job.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we want to remind you that if you didn't get a chance to get a copy of the program on your way in, you can download a full-color version absolutely free from our website, metrovsfl.com. And make sure to come back and check. When we get to next basketball season, we'll have probably about another 20 games posted, give or take a few, as the Metro Conference continues to defend their honor against the best teams in the greater Central Florida area.
So Winter Park now going full court, and we're going to have a turnover here. TFA, another mistake there, lost their focus.
Clay Kuhn hits a 3, and we'll pause for a Winter Park timeout. Full timeout requested by the Wildcats. All right, 61-62. Once I hit all the buttons to make the score match what's on the actual scoreboard, that is correct. 62-61 is the score, favoring the Royals. And so that 3-point basket, suddenly we've got a ball game with 16.1 seconds left.
Yeah, it was over double digits with about a minute and a half left. And again, TFA is just making all kinds of mental mistakes. They've now turned the ball over 8 times in this quarter. They only turned it over 8 through the first 3. There you just see how bad it is. Just bad positioning by the TFA players and a bad pass. I'm not sure where that pass was being thrown to. Went right to the Winter Park player. So now, of course, Winter Park has to foul as soon as the ball's inbounded if they can't get the steal, and they will go full court as well. Winter Park, that is. So again, Mark, at least we're gonna. It might not be the best played game. Certainly hasn't, but we're certainly, as we get that foul that we were expecting, we're gonna certainly at least close out this 2018 challenge with some excitement and drama.
Ryan Stanakis is called on the foul. That's his third and the team's 10th, and it puts TFA into double bonus. At the line shooting 2 will be Denzel Aberdeen.
17 of 22 at the line by TFA. Again, that's what allowed them to get into that lead. They took more shots from the line, and obviously the more free throw attempts you take, the more points you're going to score. And now, those are important points. You got a 2-point lead, so you can't lose it on a 2-point basket, and now it's a 3-point lead. One last opportunity for Winter Park here. They call timeout, and we will see what they set up on the other side of the timeout.
Winter Park spends their final timeout. They trail by 3 with 12.4 seconds left in the game. Again, a 12.4 second timeline, and it is a one-possession ball game. And so, after 19 games and all but 12.4 seconds of a 20th one, we have a photo finish on our hands here at the Metro versus Florida Challenge, and that's just the way we like it. As long as it doesn't go to the O word, that's...
See, too many people saying the O word on this table.
So obviously you got to go for a 3-point field goal here, Mark. You got two options. You can shoot it right off the buzzer, right off the inbound, and hope if you don't make it, you can get the rebound, which is what we're going to see. And oh, that is just a horrible way to lose. It's one thing to lose because you take the shot you want and you just can't make it, but to not even be able to hit the rim, that is painful.
Van Wilkes is called on the foul. It's his 4th. At the line shooting double bonus will be number 2, Denzel Aberdeen.
So again, I'm not sure what happened there, if he slipped or there just wasn't be able to establish his foot, and that should do it. A 4-point lead with 7.1 seconds left now.
And we have one more timeout available in the books, so we might as well use it. Full timeout requested by the Royals. That leaves each team with no timeouts remaining, and as we approach the last 7.1 seconds of what has been a great ball game to end the Metro versus Florida Challenge, we will look one more time. Denzel Aberdeen leads his team with 15 points, along with Jeremiah Bannister with 18. Winter Park has those same 4 in double figures. Fluellen, Wilkes, Stanakis, and Kuhn.
So again, Mark, did you see what exactly happened that caused that air ball?
Well, Neil, to misquote Freud, sometimes a bad shot is just a bad shot. Ryan Stanakis coast to coast, and he gets the basket, but it's not enough, and that will take us to the end of the ball game and to the end of the 9th annual Metro versus Florida Challenge, presented by Burnfat Orlando and St. Germain Chiropractic Clinics. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for coming out tonight, and for those of you especially who joined us on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday as well. Thanks also to those of you who joined us on our webcast on the Metro VSFL feed on YouTube. We appreciate your support and your dedication to our vision here at Apopka for the Metro versus Florida Challenge, and this one was a great one to end on. 65-63 is the final score, and that means that it is a final tally of 12-7. The Metro Conference is still the victor here, although TFA does their part for the Florida teams. For those of you joining us on the webcast, that's it for this year. We hope that you will enjoy watching the on-demand replays, and good night from Joe Sterling Gymnasium.